has a terrible sound system. So we're doing this with an external microphone. That's good.
I'm just...
Yeah. The name of the book is Written Off. It will be published about a year from now by New American Library. I speak on behalf of Bill Albrecht. This is Bill when he was 21 years old in 1969. The book is about the siege and the evacuation of Firebase Kate. This is taken the day after the evacuation. We start with just before the evacuation. By an hour after dark, I decided that if a spooky gunship was coming, it ought to be within radio range. Big Tex Rogers had volunteered to carry my radio and serve as my RTO. As the artillerymen crowded around in the darkness, I took the handset from him and called Spooky. No answer. I waited an eternity, maybe 2 minutes, and called again. No answer. I tried a third time. No answer. Frustrated and angry, I turned to Tex. This damn radio isn't working, I hissed into the darkness. Tex swallowed a smile. In his calm, amused, southern drawl, he whispered, "Sir, you need to release the switch." These radios operate on a single frequency. When I squeezed the handset talk button, it disabled the receiver and turned on the transmitter. I looked down at my hand. I held a push-to-talk in a death grip. My transmitter was on, my receiver was off. I relaxed my hand, releasing the switch. All of a sudden, the radio goes, "This is Spooky 41, we're coming in," says Lieutenant Mike Smith from Texas. Everybody got excited. The cavalry was riding to our rescue. Embarrassed, I managed to mumble thanks to Tex. Again, I understood that I was just as frightened as everyone else. Panic is more contagious than the common cold. If we would have any chance to get out alive, I needed to remain calm and focused. Silently, cloaked by the darkness, I now made my peace with the Almighty. I resigned myself to the realization that I would not see another sunrise. I could not envision a scenario where this would end well. Not only did I know that I would die, I knew where it would be as I entered the gap in the jungle leading to Ambush Hill. So I prayed, not for my own life, but for the lives of those who had been entrusted to me. And then, unbidden and unexpected, I was filled with a sense of calmness and well-being. It felt like a good night to die. Alabama Dykes was again Spooky's mission commander. It would be a little while before he'd be in position to fire for us. I didn't want to leave anyone, so I told the men that I was going to run back to the south end and make sure that I had everyone. Turning to leave, I heard gunfire, small arms, coming from that direction. The captain said if he was going to run back to the other end, recalls Nelson Kuhn. He said if he's not back in 5 minutes, to leave without him. We all said, if you don't come back, we ain't going anywhere, because we didn't know the lay of the land like he did. So everybody was shaking hands and whispering, "Well, if I don't make it out and you do, get a hold of my parents and tell them what happened here." It took only seconds to reach the south end. The shooting had stopped. All our foxholes and fighting positions were empty. As I squatted on my haunches in the dark, listening, I heard, faint but clear, the unmistakable sound of barbed wire being snipped, and the soft, dull clatter of sandals moving up the hillside. They were no more than 50 meters down the hill and coming. The hair on the back of my neck stood up as I started back for the north end. Then I heard the soft, evil cough of a nearby mortar firing and went prone just as the first round exploded a few meters away. Then another blast a little farther north. A few seconds later, another. They were walking mortars south to north along the length of the base camp. toward where everyone was massed for evacuation. When the mortar stopped, I ran to the north end to find that one man had been killed. Then came a popping sound from high above, a mortar illumination round. Then another pop, a flare, and then another. Kate was naked to any observer on the eastern ridge. Everybody flattened on the hard ground. My heart was a kettle drum threatening to explode from my chest. I was certain that hundreds of enemy infantry were about to spill over the south crest and come at us, firing. There was no time to lose. When the last flare burned out, I jumped to my feet and announced that we were leaving. But before we took more than a few steps, our point man, in the act of clearing our wire for the main body to pass through, accidentally set off a trip flare. Again, everyone hit the ground. As the shifting, unearthly orange light of the flare floated down on us, we waited for the mortars. They didn't come. That flare seemed to burn for an eternity before it sputtered out. Everyone got back on their feet. For a moment, it was utterly still. Then I heard the welcome sound of the Sky Raider diving low toward our hilltop, hoping to make the neighborhood bullies think that he was on a strafing run. But I knew that he had no more ammunition. I expected a Mike Force element to be waiting at the foot of Ambush Hill. I'd been told that they would lead us to their main body a few miles away. To make it easier to enter their perimeter, I put everyone into a single file. I gave the order and we moved out. But after 40 or 50 meters, the line stopped. I worked my way to the front and found the point man 20 meters from the gap leading to Ambush Hill. Frozen with fear, he was unable to move forward. Spooky was still too far to fire and clear our path. The enemy was on our heels. I knew that I must act immediately. I moved up and took the point. I understood that I was about to die, but it had to be done, and there was no one else to do it. My carbine was slung beneath my right arm and held waist-high on full automatic, my finger resting on the trigger. I gripped the radio handset in my left hand. "Follow me," I said, and stepped into the night.